Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Boruto Uzumaki figure, which is Naruto's son, maybe daughter, cousin, I don't know, I think it's his son. Looks like it could be his son. Blonde hair like the mom. Does Naruto have blonde hair too? Maybe, I don't know. I don't like Naruto at all. However, this figure does a lot of things pretty well, so all of you Naruto people are going to be pretty happy, I guess. And all of you people who are expecting me to make a whole bunch of jokes in this video, sorry, not probably going to have too many because the figure's not too bad. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands just about 13.5 centimeters, including the hair, which makes it about 5.25 inches. I didn't go to the very top spikes of the hair, but I gave it a little leeway there because he does have relatively plumy hair. And it's okay. I mean, the paint works clean enough. You can see down here on the leg it's fairly clean. Along the jacket with the zipper, that looks pretty good. The pink is all right. Could be a little better down the sleeve, but it's not bad. In there is pretty clean. Overall paint job is definitely good enough. We'll get to the articulation obviously in a minute. Let's talk about accessories though. We have 4 different faces. We have the one neutral face that comes on him in the package. Then we have one face where it looks like I'm guessing that's a happy face with his teeth showing. Then there's an angry face with his teeth showing. And then there's another happy face with his mouth open. And then we have 2 kunai, which are nicely sculpted. We have one very nicely translucent, bright, saturated ball of yarn. And then we have the 2 fist hands that come on him in the package. 2 gripping hands, 2 instant transmission hands, 2 wide open palm hands, and then 1 open palm hand with a peg for the ball of yarn. And so that's a nice batch of accessories. I love that saturated blue. That's very nice. And let's talk about the articulation. The head. So let me take this off. That's the hinge in the neck. Wanted you to be able to see that because it's not the best design in the world. When you have an off-centered peg going into the top of the head, it really needs to be a ball peg, and that's just a straight peg, so it's a little cumbersome to pose. It'll rotate obviously down here, and then you have the hinge part, which is okay, but the rotation part at the top, not the best design. The neck is on a ball peg, by the way, so that helps, but let me put the face back on and show you how limited the head posability actually is. If I can get the face back on, there we go. So the hinge part works just fine. All right, hinge is fine, rotation's fine. Leaning, it's really at a weird angle. It looks very strange. So that's because of that offset peg. And since it's not a ball peg, you have no control over it. So it's not the best design. The jacket is nice and soft, by the way, so it doesn't really get in the way. That's good. Shoulders have like a ball peg that the entire thing moves around on, but it connects really far inside, so it doesn't really have any significant range. This is just a floating cap out here that just hides the joint. So you have your ball hinge, which functions really nicely. I like that. Bicep swivels there, no problem. Single jointed elbow definitely could be a little better, but it's about 90 degrees. You don't get any rotation out of that. You do have a big ball hinge for the wrist, which is probably a little bit too big, but I guess that's okay because you do get really good range out of it, so that's all right. For the torso, I think it's just a ball peg here and a ball peg here. Since it's not mine, I can't really mess with it too much, but you can see the range. It rotates, it leans back a little bit, it leans forward a little bit, that's all fine. And then down here, there's a lot of like floating stuff going on, so there's a floating white piece in there that kind of hides the joint, and the rest is all, it's not really floating I guess, but it's soft, baggy things. So you get a whole lot of posability there, which is nice. That's going to be really helpful for posing the figure. I like that a whole bunch, and it's fairly well hidden, so that's cool. It goes forward, back, side to side, full rotation, anything you want to do. Now the hips work like the Dragon Ball figures do now. We have a ball peg that lets the hips rotate forward and back. Very nice range. Going out to the side, we have a hinge, which gives them basically full-on splits. Not quite, but pretty darn close. Now do be careful. That ball peg that this piece connects to that allows it to rotate, it's popped off twice on this leg for me while I was handling it. So be careful, but really, really fantastic range, and they're not especially loose. Could be tighter, but definitely good enough. Thigh swivel's fine. Double jointed knee, not the best looking in the world, but it'll get the job done. It'll work. And then for the ankle, really good range. I like that. Really nice. You have your ankle rocker, forward and back's all good. And then you have a toe hinge, which is good enough. Paint for the toes is still terrible. For a figure based on a show, based on foot fetishes, I would assume that the toes would be painted better, but they're not. However, the rest of the figure does look really good and functions pretty well, so I'm going to recommend it. If you want a figure of Naruto's son, daughter, cousin, whatever this is, I think you might be happy with this one. So there you go, guys. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, please. That does help me out a whole bunch. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to do it. I have new videos up just about every single day. We talk about all kinds of action figures, movies, TV shows, video games, tons of fun stuff. So make sure you come back for that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.